Welcome to week 6 of my self-serving Magic the Gathering show thing. Today is another semi-double feature. I already built this deck completely, as you can see over here. I'd feel bad for stealing content from my future self for once I'm done with the 32 deck challenge, but I really didn't feel like this one had a lot that needed to be explaining. It's not even a remotely original idea. I mean, I don't think a lot of my ideas are original, but like this one's even less original than normal. So I just wanted to go through this one really quick. The deck, just about everyone has built at least once. Well, maybe not everyone. If you have a pathological dislike of the Azorius, white and blue, probably avoided this deck. But it's Yoshimaru, Ever Faithful, 1 white for a 1/1 legendary creature dog. Whenever another legendary permanent enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Yoshimaru, Ever Faithful, and it has partner. And his partner is Sakashima of 1,000 Faces. You may have Sakashima of 1,000 Faces enter the battlefield as a copy of another creature you control, except if it has Sakashima of 1,000 Faces as their abilities. The legend rule doesn't apply to permanents you control. Also has partner. So, as you might be able to intuit from just looking at this, that the goal of this deck is to copy Yoshimaru, Ever Faithful, a lot, because he's the goodest boy. That is why this is the Goodest Boy Gang. We have 20 clone creatures. Let's go up here and then go T creature O as a copy of. As you can see, there were 33 results. Order CMC. And this one doesn't stay on the field. This one only copies allies. This one I could have put in, but if it's ever targeted by a spell or ability, you have to sacrifice it, so I left that out. But then I don't know why some of these say +1. Maybe it's because I have a different art than the one shown here. But I basically put in these two can only copy opponent stuff, so they didn't make it into the deck, because if they can't copy Yoshimaru, what's the point? Then yep, over here. Then this one turns it into a wall, and then the original creature is tapped and can't untap, so that's pointless. Body double costs 5, so like instead of 4, which is the average cost of a clone effect, so I didn't bother with that. This one costs 5 and you can return it to your hand, but that's pointless since we're only ever copying Yoshimaru. This one costs 5, but it's worth it for all this extra text where it says whenever this creature or another creature with the same name deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card, so that's cool. And then this costs 5, and it doesn't... I mean, it has improvise, so you can tap artifacts, but no, not worth it. This one, I believe... Yeah, this one can change what it's copying each turn, but that's not really necessary in this deck. This one has Myriad, which is neat, I suppose, because it means that when this one attacks, you get up to 3 more temporary Yoshimarus, but we don't want our Yoshimarus going away, so not worth the 6. Sakashima's protege has Cascade, but I felt like... oh, and it can only copy stuff that entered the battlefield this turn. Oh, that's right. Oran Soldier also makes it not legendary, so that means that the other Yoshimarus wouldn't get the +1/+1 counter. And then, even though these two cost 7, they get to keep their base power and toughness. And then this one can also come down as a 3/3 for 4, which is still better than a 1/1 starting base power. So yeah, so it comes down as a regular clone, only better, or a 7/7. And this one is like that, only it costs 2 less, even if 2 of them have to be blue. So that's my justification on my creatures. Then I have a meager ramp package over here with our classic Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Azoria Signet, Talisman of Progress, and Monologue Tax. It's over here, but I expect people to like not cast more than one spell a turn, I guess, unless they really, really want to. But if they just merely really want to, they might skip casting their second spell. Again, with stuff like this, where your opponent kind of gets to choose whether you get the thing, you have to be fine with both things. Get a treasure token, yay. They don't cast 2 spells, yay. And then we have our weak card touching segment, Esper Sentinel. The Esper Sentinel only draws cards very early. But I wouldn't count on it for card touching. And then Infiltration Lens. Okay, I like this one. It costs 1, equips for 1, and whenever equipped creature becomes blocked by a creature, you may draw 2 cards. When I saw that, I was like, oh, well, Yoshimaru isn't going to have trample. This deck has this. I might have a way to give something trample further down in the list, but they're going to want to block our large Yoshimarus after a while, so I get to draw 2 cards. Win-win. Sensei's Divining Top. You can look at the top 3 cards of your library, put them back in any order, then you can draw a card, and then put this on top. I know some people who don't like it because then you just draw the Divining Top, but you're basically smoothing out draws or smoothing out your draws and then sacrificing your most immediate draw to get that card right away, and I still feel that's worth it. Some of the players, you may look at the top card of your library at any time. Once each turn, you may cast a creature spell with power 2 or less from the top of your library. Hey, most of these things have base power 2 or less. In fact, most of them were base power 0. So this kind of weak rare from Murders at Karlov Manor really works in this deck. Scroll Rack, basically trade your hand for that many, or as much as your hand as you didn't like, for that many cards off the top of your library. So again, you're sacrificing future draws to get stuff now. And I think that's just fine. Or maybe it's stuff that's like, I don't need this turn, but maybe I could use it next turn. Or, someone who's milling you, you're like, oh, I don't mind if this stuff gets milled. And then Reality Chip lets you, if you equip it, so for 5 mana, it lets you cast spells and play lands from the top of your library, which I think is slightly cheaper than... No, it's the exact same cost as Future Sight, but it's over 2 turns instead of all 1 turn. And then I thought this was a great finisher. Double... Because it says target player, so that's us. So we can now clone all of our Yoshimarus. Double Dog Dare. And then Expand in the Yard, Land Tax, and Archaeomancer's Map. I don't like these being... Well, this I guess can be put in ramp because it's counter ramp. But the Land Tax only puts them in your hand. Invisible Fences, again... I decided to name all of my categories after dog-related things. Or gang-related things, I guess. Except for this one, just card touching. Just to go back over here, I put game changers in the maybe board because I didn't want to automatically call this thing a bracket 3 on principle. And then I put Mystic Remora because like that could replace Esper Sentinel, but it all really depends on. I mean, Esper Sentinel is only the first time per turn, and you only get one. In fact, you might be seeing me real time. Maybe board that, and then Mystic Remora that. Although the problem is that now I'm second guessing myself. Is that the Esper Sentinel will stick around more than one turn cycle. So I think that's why I did it that way. Unless someone gets rid of it. But then they had to use removal on it, so there you go. Invincible Defenses is to keep other dogs out. And so we got the Ghostly Prison, the Propaganda, they do the same thing. Can't attack you unless they pay 2 for each creature. And I don't have any Planeswalkers, so I don't have to worry about that. Teferi's Protection, you've all your stuff leaves play, and you can't change your life total. Aetherize and Aether Spouts do this roughly the same thing. Aetherize returns all attacking creatures that are under hand. Aether Spouts puts them on the top or bottom of their library, so that's totally worth the 1 extra. Illusionist Gambit. I feel like this is something Sakashima would do. Basically, if I'm attacked, I can cast this and go, no, you don't attack me. Attack one of the other people instead. Settle the Wreckage. Exiles all attacking creatures. Target player controls. That's nice. Raise the Palisade. This I put in instead of Cyclonic Rift. Because I'm like, oh, all of my creatures are going to be dogs, so I can return all non-dogs to their owner's hands. And then Urza's Ruinous Blast to exile all non-land permanents that aren't legendary. I mean, that'll has the potential to get rid of a lot of my stuff, and that stinks for me. But it leaves all of my creatures, so I feel like that's a good trade-off. Sent to a farm upstate is my single target removal. If this was for my playgroup, I wouldn't have Counterspell or Mana Drain. But I figure for my show, I'll break my group's rules and try to make slightly more universal decks. Unless it goes against my personal principles. This is my yard, is just my land base. 20 basics that I kind of split up between arts that I liked. I like, since they were Kamigawa commanders, they're Kamigawa lands. And then I would shell out several extra dollars just for one of each of the full arts. Lotus Field is still in here. Mistveiled Plains is still in here. Three Tree City, because all my creatures are going to be dogs. What's funny, though, is that, where is it? Cavern of Souls is I would choose Shapeshifter as the type. Since on the stack they're Shapeshifters and in play they're dogs. Then over here to the Gang Enhancers. Oh, good, this is a legendary artifact. Well, isn't that nice? Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, you put them here. And then the beginning of combat on my turn, if it has counters on it, I put those counters on target creature. Like the very first time that ever happened, I'd probably put them on Esper Sentinel if Esper Sentinel was still in play. Just to make Esper Sentinel either a removal target or allow me to draw a card. Well, it'd allow me to draw 1 card when they removed it. Metallic Mimic, so my dogs come into play with an extra counter. Oh, and hey, look, it's a Shapeshifter. Oh, look, it has power too. Why was Shapeshifter important? I'm trying to remember. Oh, for the dogs. Right. over here. No, Shapeshifter was important up here. I was thinking about Urza's eugenics program, whatever that card was called, and Herald's Horn, but I was like, having that, since there were not all of these 20 clones are shapeshifters, I didn't feel like there was a big enough density for that to matter. Then we got Mirror Box. The legend rule doesn't apply to permanents you control, so that's kind of redundant for Sakashima. But the thing is that Sakashima will copy Yoshimaru, but all of my clones will copy Sakashima, so that they'll all have the legend rule doesn't apply to permanents you control clause. So I don't have to worry about him getting removed. And then each legendary creature you control gets +1/+1. And then each non-token creature you control gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control with the same name as that creature. So that is a lot. That is a lot for this 3 mana. Good gravy. Herald of the Streams. Oh hey look, it's may not be a dog or a shapeshifter, but it has mana value too. And creatures controlled with +1/+1 counters on them can't be blocked. So that's a nice removal target, honestly. I don't see it staying on the battlefield, but like, you gotta make them have it. Kindred Boon, put a divinity counter on, so it's a creature, choose a creature type, we choose dog, then we pay 1 and a white to put a divinity counter on target creature control of the chosen type, and then each creature you control, a divinity counter has indestructible. Just to make them not only have removal, but have exile removal. Roaming Throne, choose a creature type, so we choose dog. This becomes a dog. Not that that'll exactly matter. But if a triggered ability of another creature control of the chosen type triggers, it triggers an additional time. So that, we go up here, so that means, and then a triggered ability is an ability that says whenever. So that means this thing gets 2 +1/+1 counters per other Yoshimaru that comes into play. And Kindred Discovery. So all of our dogs draw us a card when they enter the battlefield or attack. So this is my version of a deck that you would, if you look on, if you search Architect, Mox Field, or EDX Trek, you'd probably find all of these cards in the deck. I highly doubt, well, maybe not all of these cards. Some of these are kind of like, some of this stuff over here is generic. Actually, I'd hope you'd see a symbol of the players, because when I saw that, I was like, oh, like about 20 creatures I can play from the top of my deck. Yeah, no, that's really cool. I really like this deck. And then if I think it can hang with 3s, I would switch out some stuff, because the Cyclonic Rift costs more, but it's all non-land permanents that I don't control. And then Rhystic Study would probably replace Esper Sentinel, if we're being honest. Yeah, that's... And then Smothering Tithe. I don't know what I'd replace for Smothering Tithe. But I'd want to get my 3rd Game Changer in, just for that fear of not having 3. But that's only if that's only after playing this deck a few times, if I felt it hung out with 3s and stood like a remote chance against 4. Other than that, I would keep it at this estimated 2. But that's the Goodest Boy Gang. What was my... Listen, we just want to clone Yoshimaru. Wow, I don't need the capital C clone. We just want to clone Yoshimaru as many times as we can, so the Goodest Boy can be everywhere forever. The Game Changer... Oh, wait, no. I don't actually need that. I used to have them in the deck and listed as Game Changers. Oh, and now we can set it from private to unlisted. Save changes again. That means people might actually see it somehow before I put this episode up. So now we go. Welcome to the official start. Everything else was prologue. And as I said, it's Volo. Itinerant scholar. An itinerant. Lot of vowels tend to mess me up. He is 2 and a blue for a 2/3 legendary creature human wizard. When Volo enters the battlefield, create Volo's Journal, a legendary colorless artifact token with hexproof, and whenever you cast a creature spell, note one of its creature types that hasn't been noted for this artifact. Draw a card, and then you can pay 2 and tap Volo here. Volo has to tap. Draw a card for each creature type noted for targeted permanent you control named Volo's Journal. And then we have Folk Hero. Commander creatures you own have, whenever you cast a spell that shares a creature type with this creature, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. And once again, I don't feel that this is a particularly new or unique idea, but this is the one I had for this color combination. We're going to do Changeling Typal, but before that, let's get our lands. And I don't need to do it this way. Plains, Island, and then 10. Actually, wait. Because we're going to go all printings, Boulder, add his new card, 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 switch to edition. 1. Now we got to close this because, so that's, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I just wanted to have one of each. So even if they don't all come out, I'm just double checking to make sure. Even if I don't ever see them all in a game, because that's unlikely, I'll always have the different flavor texts. All printing. Boulder. Add is new. Add is new. Add is new. Add is new. Forgot. Add is new. Add is new. Add is new. Switch to edition. There we go. And now that's only 16, right? Yep, 16. So I want at least 4 more planes. So let's go planes. I should have probably just done add is new, all of them. But let's go here. Let's switch edition. So we're ordering by type, but let's go edition date. And now we're just going to kind of look for... oh, if I was doing more than 20 basics, the Bloomburrow ones would be a shoo-in. with the little frog walking around. There's the Assassin's Creed ones. Thunder Junction. Newer ones are more likely to be cheaper than older ones. That's why I'm starting here. Oh, actually, I have an idea, and it amuses me slightly because they don't fit Dungeons and Dragons, but it would be a lie to say they didn't inspire Dungeons and Dragons. And yeah, that's these. The ones from Lord of the Rings. Fart in a log. No, I gotta. So that's one idea, but I'm gonna keep going down. Don't like them Phyrexian. Actually, out of all things with the Phyrexian text on them, I dislike that the least. Because at least I'm like, oh, that's apparently a land. It doesn't have enough text to be anything else. Although I actually kind of like this $9 one. What the heck is that from? P23? I don't know what P23 is, but that's kind of neat. Oh, these big robots from did they just call that set Brothers War? Well, big robots don't really fit Volo, but I'm sure he'd be interested in them. Oh, then we got the ones from Unfinity. Those are kind of neat, like whole planet and weird landscape. The Dominaria. I do like the Dominaria United full arts as well. My favorite are the Theros Beyond Death full arts, but a close second probably are these Dominaria United ones. And then maybe third are the Neon Dynasty ones right here. Like any fancy art, you can probably run by me. I wish this was a full art right here. This like this Aurora. Zendikar usually has neat ones. I think I am just going to go with the Lord of the Rings one, just kind of as a shout out. So add that as new, and then switch to edition because we don't want the foils. So we close, and then we go here. And then all printings, and then just go LORD. Funny that the foil one is selling for less, at least on Card Kingdom. But add as new, switch edition. By the way, yes, I am that kind of person. Oh, well, you're going to see this again, because I just realized that I'm probably just going, that I'm going to copy, this is my yard, copy card names, and then there's a, is this it? There we go. That saved us some time. Because I don't think there's anything in here. Because it's mostly these different dual lands. The Three Tree City, which I think still fits here. Cavern of Souls still fits. Lotus Field, it's still something that vaguely resembles Ramp. And Mistveil Plains, to put stuff at the bottom of my library from my graveyard. I still think that's a good card. You can probably Soul Ring from my cold dead hands. I probably could have kept that other one open and again and copied. Actually, yeah. You know what? This, now that I'm thinking about it, this is a good point. But I'm not going to copy now because dog money. I already put in most of them, but I will put in the Talisman of Progress. I'm going to hold off on monologue tax for now. I'm going to come back to that thought. Talisman of Progress. I actually had to go into card search to find that the first time because I forgot what it was. I could put in other pieces of ramp, but let's also go over here. But let's grab this removal suite. Copy card names. And then we go over here. We're not going to use all of these, but you know, it's a good place to start. So we're not using Urza's Ruinous Blast. We can use Raise the Palisades, though. That's cool. Nope, the rest of that is fine. Then we don't need anything in gang enhancers. I mean, Kindred Discovery and Kindred Boon, maybe, since we're doing another typal deck. I definitely need card touching, but I might try to go in a different direction. We are going to keep Goodest Boy Gang up for now, but let's save those changes. Close. So we got our 38 land, 4 pieces of Illusionist Gambit. Hold on. Oh, it's because they got put over here. Hold on. There, I do kind of want to keep my single target disruption from my multi not exactly target, but my area of effect stuff separate. So I'm actually going to single target and rename this area of effect. There. I do like that. Okay. And I'm, for what it's worth, kind of in the numbers for the new base template, I think. Nope, well, obviously I'm missing a lot of ramp and card advantage, and I technically 2 more targeted disruptions just looking at this, and 30 plan cards. Like, if you haven't seen the Command Zones thing and you care, you can watch that. And then you watch their follow-up of Don't Listen to the Template, which I think was goodly self-aware of them. Though I guess Ghostly Prison and Propaganda aren't exactly mass disruption, but they are protection pieces. And my mass disruption isn't even really mass disruption. It's just hey, you specifically don't bother me disruption. Or the oh, you're gonna make me have it disruption. Where am I? 62. About 8-ish more cards before I definitely got it. The only thing is that changelings aren't exactly good. I realize what I know what my other creature types are going to be, or what two of my other pieces of ramp are going to be. Urza Incubator and Herald Horn. There we go. Since almost everything in this that's a creature in this deck is going to be changeling, I can safely use that. And then I'll probably just say human, just to reduce his cost as well, since the changelings count as all of those creature types in your hand too, if I recall correctly. Definitely need my card draw though. Card draw is always the hardest part for me personally. I kind of have a hard time figuring out what card draw to put in. It's like, is this really good card draw? I don't know. I don't like the spells that draw cards. Maybe that's just my weird personality. So let's get my creatures out of the way. Oh, changeling. Although there's at least one thing that isn't a changeling. There's a couple of things that aren't a changeling. So metallic mimic, just to slightly buff my creatures. Roaming Throne, I don't think will go in this because I don't think there's anything that really triggers. So let's see what kind of changelings we have. There's 25. So let's go T creature. T creature. There are 19. There are 19 creatures that have changeling. And not all of these are good. Like this at least has flying. This can at least put stuff back into my deck. This will become a problem. This has lifelink and champion a creature. And I like how it says leaves the battlefield instead of dies, so I can at least get it back. Mirror Entity is actually good. A regular cohort's decent, and possibly this 6 Pride isn't absolute garbage. This thing will at least come in with an additional +1/+1 counter and scry 1. This will filter my mana. Oh, this can... that's actually kind of interesting of an effect. Target shapeshifter becomes a copy of target creature until your next turn. So it turns one of my awful creatures into something halfway decent. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, if it targets one or more other permanents you control, create a token that's a copy of one of those permanents. Yeah, we're not dealing with that complication. This thing at least has flying. Whenever you or permanent you control becomes the target of spell or ability an opponent controls, counter that spell or ability unless the controller's phase 1. There we go. It gives all of our creatures Ward 1 without it specifically saying that it gives Ward 1. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature type among creatures you control. That'll at least be 3/3 for 2 with double strike. I don't think I want to put in bad changelings like this that doesn't do anything. This that doesn't do anything interesting. This that just gives itself flying just by tapping another untapped creature you control. 3/2 vigilance for 4 isn't good. Giving or taking away creature types is not something I see being necessary. I know I like put the 3-tree mascot in over here, but at least theoretically a 1-for-1 mana filter is at least not complete and utter garbage. So we're going to go here. We're going to rename this to... Actually, we're going to name it Shapeshifters. Because I was going to call it Changelings. But then I remembered that one of the things... Oops, where did he go? Select all. There you are. Let's see, there's nothing hiding down here, okay. And then you go here. You go here. You go here. Select all. And you go down there. Okay, so I have 13 shapeshifters. Because the metallic mimic is also a shapeshifter. Okay. So now we do here. So we go minus O changeling. O, just in case it comes up. And of course, we typoed that. So we have adaptive automation. So if we choose a, so we choose human or wizard, which means it wouldn't. So these guys wouldn't be drawing us cards, for the record. So this guy wouldn't be drawing mixed cards. I do kind of like Graz the Unstoppable, because all of our dudes are juggernauts anyway. And giving them base power and toughness 5/3. I'm sorry, I was just reading duplicate to myself. It exiles a creature and then becomes a copy of it. But I do like this because it gives all of our other creatures base power and toughness 5/3, which if we close here is I like how it's listed as a finisher because it kind of is, especially since all of our stuff has to attack. But if we but yeah, 5/3 is an improvement over here because he's a 2/3. And if we go to our shapeshifters, that's an improvement. None of these things are particularly strong at base. Like this one gets its toughness lowered by 1. And this one gets its toughness lowered by 1. This one gets its toughness lowered by 1. But I still think it's a good trade. So that's amusing. And Juggernaut is because we don't have to play shapeshifters. The shapeshifters just allow us to draw a card off a folk hero and note a type for Volo's journal. I don't know if you heard me snapping my fingers as I tried to remember a word. Let's see. A lot of things with a lot of text I don't feel like reading. Zephyr, I was leaving Kifkin Zephyr that wasn't particularly interesting. Nope, that's doing with Human Illusion Wizard. He costs 6. He does draw a non-zero number of cards. And he has flying, which I like. And Illusion is a type I can mark on the journal. Okay, I like that for a piece of card draw. Because now I have 15 creatures. 16 if we count my commander, and I don't. Still don't think Roaming Throne is good for this deck. Huh. Oh, wow, that's actually gross. Riders of Gavany, Human Knight. So Knight is the one that I would mark. As Riders of Gavany enter the battlefield, choose a creature type. Human creatures you control have protection from creatures of the chosen type. All of my stuff are humans. Yeah, all of my stuff so far are humans because he's a human illusion wizard. So that's 16. Top card of your library. That's not helpful. Titan of Litjara. It is also an illusion, so that would be a double up. Also in the same mana value. But whenever Titan of Litjara enters the battlefield or attacks, you may draw a card for each other creature you control that shares a creature type with it. But you got to discard a card. Depending on how many cards you could draw, that's probably fine. Well, honestly, I can count this one. Whoops. I scrolled way past them. Count this one as human, illusion, or wizard, depending on what I count. Oh no, Volo doesn't count himself. Hold on. Yeah, because Volo doesn't count himself. So, yeah, Titan of Lijara. That's another good one. Yeah, and I don't think any... Well, there is Resplendent Marshal. When Resplendent Marshal enters the battlefield or dies, you may exile another creature card from your graveyard. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature control other than Resplendent Marshal that shares a creature type with the exiled card. Yeah, no. I have my +1/+1 counter card. So where are we? So, two very expensive draw cards that have the gall to call themselves draw cards. I'm not... Like, it says draw, but I'm not so foolish as to count them as my draw cards. That's like counting anything that costs more than 2 or 3 mana as ramp. Though I am going to edit this category as other creatures. There. So now I can go 13 plus 4 is 17. I have 17 creatures. I would like more creatures, but once again, I'm not going to give myself bad creatures. I am not entirely... I could search for creatures within my colors that have rare creature types, but they got to have good effects. So I'm actually going to search for some vegetables and actually get real card draw in this deck. Which honestly I think might be... Actually, I don't... my Infiltration Lens probably won't make it, because I don't know, or assemble the players, but at least I can get the other ones. Because Jellyfish is definitely a unique card type. And Esper Sentinel is a soldier, in addition to being human, so he just naturally shares a creature type. Like, we only have 2 cards only 2 creatures that don't draw cards off a folk hero. And that's the Titan and Graz. I think that's pretty good. So we're going to import those cards. Well, I guess technically I don't have to do that because, yep. Oh, whoops, it still had that. Oh, I did select all instead of copy card names. So we don't need to assemble the players, and we don't need Infiltration Lens. I probably could have typed these 4 things out. So those 4 actually get to stay in draw. Because this thing, even though it counts as a creature for the jellyfish. So I have 3 creatures now that don't draw cards from folk hero. Oh, and I guess I have a 5th piece of draw because this draws any time I cast a creature spell. Besides 3 of them. But I'm not counting it as a creature because I plan on reconfiguring it, and so I can play cards off the top of my deck. I'm actually going to search up something. I'm going to search up the other Volo. The other Volo might have... the other Volo might not be in these colors. Oh, the other Volo's Simic. That's right. So he's not going to show up. Let's see. What? 4 pieces of card draw still isn't good enough. We are at 86 cards. This is where if it wasn't for the Braxis system, I'd jam in Rhystic Study because it's lazy. I 100% know it's lazy to put in Rhystic Study. But that's why it's tempting. What kind of combos do I not have? So Hullbreaker, Horror, and Soul Ring. We're not doing that, by the way. So this is a 3-card Infinite with Ethereum Sculptor. Or Foundry Inspector. But this isn't an artifact-based deck, so we're not doing that. Then there's Cloud Key. So the same 3-card infinite draw. Another infinite draw. Yeah. Then it, again. Oh. Cast Approach of the Second Sun for 7. Activate Scroll Rack. But you gotta have 7 cards in hand. That's funny, but I'm not going to do it. Lord Urza, that's just another infinite draw. Infinite draw, infinite draw. Are we at infinite draw yet? Yep, we're at infinite draw. Once again, infinite draw for different... Oh, Spellbinder to Furry's Protection. Boo. For 7 mana, opponents sacrifice all permanents they control. Mind over Matter. Yeah, not doing that either. Oh, that's cheap. We're not doing that either. Activate this for 0 just to make this thing big? Yeah, no, we ain't doing that. And then another infinite card draw. Another infinite card draw. Okay, so this is a lot of infinite card draw. Let's go to EDA Trick. Oh, well, let's not go to EDA Trick. Maybe we could use Looters. I don't like discarding cards, though. It just fundamentally makes me itchy. Although I guess technically Volo is a piece of card draw. I have 2 card draw right here, so I have 6 pieces of card draw. That is half the recommended amount of card draw. Because once again, we're not... Well, no, we are counting him, I guess. Okay. Whoops. I don't know if you heard me typing, but nothing was happening. So we're gonna put in the discovery, but maybe not the boon. There were some other things over here that... Oh, that was same name. The thing I'm thinking about was pirated copy, which is same name. And we're not doing same name, we're doing same creature type. I'm going to take another look at... so that's a 3/3. It's a 4/5. Man, Paul Jamar is a big, beefy boy. Six and 7. So that's... So I probably only have like 13 creatures that are under the mark. I was... Nope. 12, 11. Yeah, so that's not enough for a symbol of the players, tell you what. And I like how it says attack and not deals... and not... It doesn't have to deal combat damage. And of course I'd say human or... Well, no, I'd say human or juggernaut. Depending on where I am in the game and if I had Graz out. But actually... Because I still probably wouldn't still attack with Volo anyway. Anyway. Minus T instant, minus T sorcery, order, CMC. I was about to say I spelled that wrong, but it's... Oh, minus T land. Market Backwalker. See, it has to die though. But I do like it. It's a single piece of card draw, but it is something that I can put back into my deck with 2 different cards. I'm not putting snow lands just to draw cards. Just scanning over these because I've messed with so many deck ideas that I can kind of... I just had a thought for an idea that I wanted to put in this, but I have to pass by it first. You know what? Mystic Remora. It'll at least mess with people for a rotation. I'll still want to put a couple more creatures in the deck, though. So that that draws... This is 4 mana basically to draw 2 and have no maximum hand size. I'm not... Though it's aspirational to not be worrying about a maximum hand size. I really gotta remember Clan Crafter for like an investigation deck, because then you turn your clues into ultra clues. since you get to draw the card and put a +1 counter on something. Fairy Mastermind. Whenever opponent draws their second card, so basically this is once again aspirational of, oh, is my opponent drawing cards? More cards than normal? Then I should draw a card. I think I'm going to put in Flumph, so that means I have 2 jellyfish now, but, you know. They won't both get noted. But I do like the idea of, hey, do you want to draw a card? Attack me with something smaller than my Flumph. And then we can both draw cards. And I'm only going to go about till about CMC 3. You know what? Each player may draw a card. Sometimes you got to be generous to get what you want. And now it's like, attack me if you want to draw a card, or please don't attack me, so... And then I'll have us both draw a card. Yeah, we have both options here. And what's nice is that some of these are creatures, so they're adding more creatures to my deck, which makes me happy. If I'm going to loot, I'm not going to pay money for it. Oh, there's that one. Yeah, she's in the 3s. I got to remember. Spirited Companion and Loyal Hunter, or whatever it's called, are neat, but they only draw cards once. Yeah, I forgot about this card for a lot of my earlier decks, and for some of them, this wouldn't matter because the commander is kind of expensive. I might go back and put it in some of the ones with like lower cost commanders, like the mono red one. This would definitely could go in there. Whenever your commander enters the battlefield or attacks, put a page counter, and then you can pay 1 and tap it to draw a card, and removing one of them page counters. That could definitely go in my mono red. I'd have to check the other ones. I'm not gonna like do an update on those ones, but just letting you know that I forgot this thing existed and it could go in some decks. Trade routes is so interesting. Trading lands for card draw. Oh, if you would draw a card, draw 2 cards instead. I like that. And he's homunculus, so that's another creature type. Yeah, it's another unique creature type. You know, that's kind of what they mean by overlap. Let's see, I believe the other one I was thinking about is in the Elves of 3 mana. So we'll get there soon. Enduring Vitality is not it. But I was thinking about it for a second. Okay, actually Gold Bug I like. Because prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to attacking humans you control. And then whenever you cast your second spell, he converts. Human spells you control can't be countered. Whenever Goldbug and at least one human attack, draw a card and convert. Oh, I like this. And he's a robot. It's a weird universe beyond card. Volo and Goldbug. But I'm glad I'm once again I'm glad I'm finding creatures that I like for this. Da, 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 da. Actually, I got to read Leonardo da Vinci really quick for unrelated reasons. So he costs 2 and a blue for a 3/3 human artificer. Until end of turn, top creatures you control have base and power toughness XX, where X is the number of cards in your hand. And then 2 and a blue and tap, draw a card, then discard a card. If the discarded card was an artifact card, exile it from your graveyard. If you do, create a token copy of that card, except it's an O2 Thopter artifact creature with flying in addition to its other types. Okay, I had a weird Leonardo da Vinci idea that might be one of the decks I do for the post 32. Lorn of the Third Path, because it's you and target opponent each draw a card, but she's also single target removal, and she's an artificer, which is also a unique creature type. Mirrodin Besieged. Oh, Mirrodin Besieged is an interesting card that I forgot about. When I get through with this mana value, that's when I'm going to stop to see where I am. Oh. We're not casting artifacts. Blue really wants to cast artifacts to draw cards and do other stuff, but that's just not where we are. Sorry, Teferi, you're a great character in the lore, but you're just a slog to deal with in actual playing of Magic. And okay, we got to 4. Nothing else crossed my mind or caught my eye. What are we at? We're at 95. I just remembered some things I do want to put in here. I have 13 things that they have decided to call draw. That's one more, but 2 of them might not count. I'm torn on Market Back Walker, but I think I'm going to leave it in for now. Because that's one fewer things I actually have to... They put her in removal. I'm putting her in card draw because the removal is the thing that she only does once. And the draw is the thing that she can do more than once. Unlike some of the things in card draw. But there are cards I haven't put in a deck in a while that I want to put in here. Our good old Mithril Coat. There you are. So our 3 pieces of, we're just going to call this armor. Oh, that reminds me. There was another. I thought there was another section, but there wasn't. So yeah, there is no trample over there. Interesting. I thought maybe I'd slipped in a shadow spear. What's funny is that I'm not entirely sure what my game plan is to win. Like when you look at all this, it's just draw cards, durdle around, and hope for the best. Like maybe I'll get Graz out because he's the only thing that's ever called itself. Oh no, Graz and the Mirror Entity are like the only 2 things in here that are finishers. Here's a tap all creature target player controls. Okay. That's target player. Not sure if I want that. So we're going to go here. I just had an idea. That's fine. Tap all. Oh, hold on. I have to -O untap. There we go. Bond of Discipline. I like this in Duel Commander, but I don't know. You know, no. It's tap, and it's all opponents, so that's good. And then I can have one more. Oh, that's why it left it out, because so tap all creatures your opponents control, tap all creatures your opponents control, and they don't untap during their next untap step. Tap all creatures your opponents control, those creatures don't untap during the control's next untap step until your next turn creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. So, yes. So those are those 2. I'm actually going to go by type really quick. 27 creatures. I'm actually not super sold on Market Backwalker. So I'm going to go down to 26 creatures because there's another. Because there's Bluster Squall. That's area of effect. So that's at least 3 finisher cards. And then, there we go. So I have a ton of disruption because the rest of my deck is garbage. It's kind of garbage. Although I realize the Riders of Gavany is only good if an opponent is also playing typal. But at least it's a knight. So maybe I'll go down to 25 and... Because maybe I do want the kindred. All of my stuff of this type are indestructible. Yeah, I'm going to take that out. So we're down to 25 creatures. And we've got to move that from protection. I was about to put it in draw, but then I realized that protection really is the only place for it for now. I'm just checking something else really quick. In a different window entirely. Yeah, this is going to be my shortest episode after episode 4. That was only an hour and 40. And we're on an hour 22. Where am I? Where am I? There's Microsoft Edge. Yeah, yeah, there really isn't anything else. Am I at 100? Yeah, I'm at 100. I'm going to switch this from private to unlisted, and then we're going to put in our description. Ooh, looking for new and different creatures. Draw cards. Discoveries to find a win con. And it says that it is a core. I feel I know people don't really think that this should be here in these deck builders, but I do like looking at them. And I'm like, yeah, 2 is fine. We can regrade it to a 1, but I doubt it's a 3 because this is kind of a silly idea. And as I said in a comment to a video, a lot of my decks feel like they start as 1s. And then depending on other factors such as my skill, they might become a 2 or a 3, but just making sure that that is my deck image. And wow, yeah, it's weird ending a little early considering some of my other ones range closer to 2 hours than this. But yeah. Some decks are easier to build than others, I guess, and I'm not going to drag this out any longer than I have. Next, oh, well, you know what? Since I do have time, and I guess I will drag this out. if you pause, you can see some other ones that I haven't released yet that will be post 32. Next week is Orzhov, which will be this deck and another deck on top of that. It'll be another double feature, because the idea I had for this one, I wanted to make sure there was enough cards for it, and then I ended up building the deck. So, stealing content from my future self once again. And then, yeah, this is the next, all the way up to the end of the guilds. Oh, we gotta come up with a name. Volo. Volo's journal. Whatever. Yeah, not. Did I spell journal correctly? Journail. Okay. See you next week. Hopefully that one is just as good, if not better, than this one.